understand what he's saying. So God does speak, and he still speaks. Matter of fact, he's probably talking to you all the time. I didn't realize how much he was speaking to me. He just kind of lists off a few ways that he speaks to me. Sometimes it's impressions. Sometimes it's through dreams. That's a huge way that God speaks to me, is through dreams. And sometimes it's through revelation of the Word of God. And I'd say probably just a couple months back, I'm just going to dive right into some examples. And I'm going to explain some things that God shared with me that really changed my life. I'm going to use some current examples. So a few months back, I was thinking about moving, and this opportunity came up where there was a home that would have been bigger and less money per month than where I'm living now, and I thought, well, that's a no-brainer. Talked to my wife about it, and I hadn't prayed about it yet. And I went to men's group, actually, and thought about bringing it up, but some other things came up, and I didn't want to kind of interrupt the flow of how things were going in that small group, and so I didn't say anything. I went home, and I had the most intense dream. And at first, I was like, I don't know if this is from God. And I had made a promise to some friends of mine that I would start writing down my dreams and then decide whether or not they were from God or if they were just too much pizza. So I wrote this dream down, right? And I'm like, no way, this is too much pizza. Like, there's kangaroos and all sorts of weird stuff going on, llamas, and it just didn't. I was writing it down, I didn't think it made much sense. But as I go through and I'm writing this down, I'm thinking, oh no, I feel the presence of God and saying, no, this is from me. I don't know how in the world this could possibly be anything. So I write it all out, and I start praying about it, and I'm talking to a friend of mine, and God starts revealing the meaning of this dream to me. And after about an hour, and I bring my wife into the conversation with my friend, I realize God doesn't want me to move. He wants me to stay right where I'm at. And that if I move, this is really going to affect my life for the next year. It's going to put me in a super bad position. I'm going to be predispositioned, not going to be able to do what I need to do in Him. It would be pure disobedience for me to take this opportunity. Now, just from the outside, it was a no-brainer decision if you did not believe in God or listen to God. It would have been like, you should totally move. Well, I went ahead and I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to listen to God. And I talked to my wife about it, and she goes, well, I was driving over to take a look at this house, and I prayed, and I said, hey, God, should we move into this home? And immediately she got the response in her spirit, no. Don't even go and talk to the owner. Well, she was already on the way, so she went and talked to the owner. She told me none of this until after I told her about the dream. So I thought that was kind of funny. And so I talked to her, and that was just a confirmation for me that we were not supposed to move. And we didn't. And the cool thing, actually, that happened from that is where we're living now, they didn't increase the rent for the lease, which is like super duper unusual. So God spoke to me through this dream, and that was pretty amazing. And He speaks through all sorts of avenues, but dreams are definitely one of them. And the same thing happened to Daniel in Daniel chapter 2. As a matter of fact, this is kind of a crazy story. In case you're wondering if dreams are a way that God can speak to you, they totally are. He spoke in a dream to Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon. And then Nebuchadnezzar says, you know what? I had this dream. I'm going to bring all these magicians and all these sorcerers and all these Chaldeans and all these wise men to me. I'm going to say, I had a dream and I want you to interpret it. Not only that, but I want you to tell me what the dream was, but I'm not going to tell you what the dream was. You need to tell me the dream and the interpretation, or I'm going to chop you into pieces and burn your houses to ash. That's literally what he said. So a little extreme, just a touch. Right, just to, if you don't do this, that's all. That's what's going to happen. So they were kind of freaking out. The guard that was in charge of the armies went out and started killing wise men. He went through with it. And they came across Daniel and his companions who had been taken captive out of Israel. And he said, well, hold on, let me talk to the king. He goes and talks to the king, convinces him to give him a little bit of time. First thing he does when he gets back is he asks his friends to help pray with him about this. They go to prayer. God gives Daniel the same vision that he gave Nebuchadnezzar and the interpretation, which he went and interpreted for Nebuchadnezzar. So just to give you a biblical background for whether or not dreams are ways that God can speak to you in visions, Daniel chapter 2 is one.
Can you give us like 10 seconds on the llamas and kangaroos?
the dream is really super weird. It's so weird.
Don't worry about it. We'll talk
Yeah,
about it later.
we could. I mean, I could, but it sounds super crazy.
But the interesting thing is if you go through prophetic circles and prophetic dreaming, they actually have very clear meanings. So
That's true.
they did mean something. But it's a lot to go into.
Yeah, it would be a lot to kind of unpack, kind of explain how that works. But I mean, there is biblical meaning behind all sorts of symbolism that can happen in dreams, and God speaks that way. Sometimes because dreams are weird. So everybody has dreams, they jump around and they're kind of weird, and they don't flow like a specific kind of pattern typically. But when you write it down and see kind of what the deeper meaning behind that is, that's where you really get that word from the Lord and what's going on. And a lot of times, I mean, I've had dreams that were just straight symbolistic, biblical, like swords and all sorts of cool stuff, where there are biblical references you can read and get the description of what that means straight from the Bible. And to me, that's super important. I want to make it very clear that if you're having a way that God's speaking to you, it will be something that you can match up with the Word. This is Jesus right here. This is His Word. And anything that happens in a way that He's going to speak with you should be something that you can back up with the Scripture. So it's also the feeling, too, that you have while you're in the dream, whether it's anxiety, panic, fear, maybe it's peace, maybe it's love, joy. It can be all sorts of things, and it has to match up with that. So, something I want to bring up is 1 Corinthians 14:1. It says, "Pursue love and desire the gifts, especially that you may prophesy." Or another way of putting it would be, follow the way of love and eagerly desire the gifts of the Spirit, especially prophecy. What the class has to do with is really helping people to learn how God speaks, what that means, how to walk in obedience, and that's pretty much it. I mean, that's everything right there. So, like with this dream that I had, it changed the direction of where I may have gone had I not pursued God in the matter. And before I even asked the question, He answered it, which I thought was pretty amazing. And that's just one of, I can tell you dozens of examples of how God's spoken to me and changed the direction of my life. So, basically, that's what this class is. We want everyone to be able to take away what we discussed earlier, which is God speaks to you. How to recognize His voice, and appropriate ways to do that, which one of them has to do with understanding the Word, the gifts of the Spirit, and how to use the gifts. And all this has to do with being able to hear God and walk in obedience with Him. So, yeah. Now, did you have anything for anyone specific, or?
I don't know if they're actually. I think they went home.
Okay.
I'm going to call out a couple of quick things, and if they need anything to you, great. If they don't, that's great too. I don't think there's an Elizabeth here, but is that somebody close to anybody, Elizabeth? Or the number 4234?
Well, I was actually just, while I was kind of praying about tonight, kind of thinking about like worship and like how like my journey with worship has kind of progressed. And I thought about two of my mentors that kind of raised me up, and one of the ladies that, as far as kind of teaching me like the fundamentals and the theology of worship itself, her name was Elizabeth. I was like a little kid, I was like, whoa, I have to get hold of us. I was like 16. And she started kind of selling me and stuff.
Cool. Is she still with us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still around.
Does that number mean anything to you at all?
So,
And the 4234. It's very tied to the name. It's an identifier so that I know I'm talking to the right person. Okay. So I don't think this is for her. And then the other one was a Donnie or a Danny.
Yeah, my friend Danny Barker got her
Okay.
a couple days ago.
Does he have a dog? German Shepherd?
I don't know if it's a German Shepherd dog or not. His neighbor's house was on fire, and they try to save it.
Is he married? sometimes, because I just felt like those things came to me, and I you know, I didn't know what they meant. And I actually still don't know exactly where he's going. It sounds like he's going through a hard time. And so I'd like to just pray as a group. We can pray for him. His name's Donnie or Danny? Danny. And then if something comes to me at that time. You said he was not married. He is married. How's his what's going on with his wife? Is she? I mean, she's with him and she's okay. Like third degree, like all over. Yeah. Man, she's. Let me just check one thing on my note. This isn't a real super clear. Things are a little smaller than they look to them right now. And so, what really I'm feeling like is I mean, this is obvious, right? They need people around them, but I think they also need to really make sure that they're focusing on God in this process. He has some things he wants to speak to them. I don't have anything specific for them, but that does tell me that he's thinking of them and he's processing them and what they're going through. And I believe he does have words for them. And so let's just pray for him, and maybe God will reveal a message or something that you can take to them. Father, we just know that no matter what happens, that the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. That's what the Bible says. It's clear. He wants to take things away from us. He wants to take the joy of life away from us. He wants to really get us to pull away from you and start blaming you for things that happen. But what I'm seeing, Father, is that you just want to bless these people. Third-degree burns are no joke, Father, but they are a simple thing for you. And so we just ask that you pour quick healing over this man, that you bring him closer to you in the process, and you bring him and his wife closer together through what is going on. That you bless them with a home, that you bless them with provision, Father, for the things that they have. And I feel like that you're actually calling them back to you in a way that maybe they're not familiar with, that they've kind of stepped away from you a little bit, either out of just the day-to-day life, but they're really just not pursuing you in the way that you would desire. And so through this process, God, pull them into your heart and show them the ministry that you have for them. I feel like this gentleman actually moves through and does a lot of, he can really reach other people. He's a guy that everybody really likes. He has a really big heart for the people around him. And so I just believe that God's going to use that. He's going to use that heart to really bless other people. And the wonderful thing about some of these tragic events, my wife, if you look at my wife, she goes downtown. She's sick. Most of the time when she has to be up for too long a period of time, she has to be in a wheelchair. But it opens up doors in a way that nobody else can open up. And so I believe that even though he's burned and even though he has this tragedy in his life, that God's going to turn that around. He's going to bring that forward, and he's going to really use him to minister to other people that are going through this. And I can just feel it, man. Everybody really likes this guy. I'm feeling like not only like a love for me, but like each person in this room, if they knew him, would just be in love with him. That he's just a jovial guy that really did not deserve to have this happen to him. But I think it's that strong heart for people that's going to allow him to push through this and really make an impact on the people around him, because he's going to remain that way. He's going to have the scars that he's got. He's going to have the impact that he has, but he is going to keep that jovial nature. It's going to subside a little bit, and it's up to the people around him to help keep that joy of the Lord and really help him push forward, because I think he's going to do some great things and really minister to people. So awesome. Please let us know if there's anything we can do for him as well.
So I have something, again, I don't know if this person's still here or not, but is anyone here dealing with heavy depression? Good. Well, this is something I was praying about earlier, so I just wanted to check. Is anybody here really trying to get some kind of breakthrough? Awesome. I think that's going to happen tonight. You're going to receive an amazing breakthrough. As Ryan was praying, I really believe that God shared with me that that breakthrough that you've been seeking is happening. Awesome. That's awesome.
God told me that it was gonna start happening quickly, and I was gonna start seeing about the doors open. And today I got an email about something that was like a door opening. So I received it.
Awesome.
I've been
Yeah.
praying it.
It's as amazing and better
Awesome.
than you even believe right now. So have faith, because there's a reason why God shares things with people, and that is to build your faith. He wants you to know that that is really going to happen in a way that is beyond your imagination. And you're absolutely right. It's going to happen fast. Yeah. Praise God. That's awesome.
Amen. Praise God.
Thank you, Jesus. That's cool.
Well, that's been the main message too for in the prophetic circle. So we meet in a prophetic group, and the general kind of consensus is that God is really taking His people forward this year. The last year was a transitional period, and people